Koncept-P, the beat knocking.
The first thing, like I said, this is Koncept-P. He's a music producer. He's worked with Meg the Stallion. He's worked with Tekashi 6ix9ine. But I'm gonna let him go ahead and tell us a little bit about who he is and how he got started in music.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a couple of years now, taking it seriously. But it wasn't till, like 2 years ago where it kind of just really started moving for me. Like the way I got into producing officially though is I took a college class because I had a bunch of credits over with in high school. So I had extra time. Yeah. So I took an extra class to do audio engineering, and I kind of just fell in love with it. And pretty much the class was you got to learn how to produce a little bit, how to record a little bit, and from there, that kind of planted the seed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was gonna be my career path yet, but I knew I wanted to do something with audio. So that's when I graduated high school. I went to Ithaca College, and then I got my bachelor's degree in audio engineering. So,
Cool. So you were talking about you went to college in upstate New York, right? So you went to college in New York, so that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yesterday when we were talking, you were mentioning how you kind of stayed in your room, refining your craft. Other people may have been out doing the party thing, doing the party scene. Tell me, why was it important for you to work on your craft during that time while you were in school?
Word. Really, for me, it was more I just liked doing it. You know what I mean? I would rather be in my dorm or at the studio, working on beats than, going out. Cause Ithaca is a very small town, so it's there's really only a couple things you could do, and everyone would do the same things every week. Yeah. So it's after me doing that a couple times on my freshman year, I was this kind of played out. So I kind of started my freshman year of college is when I really decided all right, I'm gonna do this producing for real. Yeah. And I had a roommate, one of my roommates was also a producer. His name's Ricasso. So he put me onto a lot of game that I didn't know about. And then my other boy, his name's Moby, he put me onto the whole internet side of producing. Yeah. So selling beats online, this whole SoundCloud thing, and then kind of just evolved into me just always being at the studio. I would drive them to the parties, go back to the crib, make beats, whatever, and then I would go pick them up after, and then that's kind of what I did my whole college years. I mean, not saying that I didn't do anything go out with my friends and stuff, but for the most part, I was always just kind of locked in.
Got you working on that craft. So you were talking about some of your boys were telling you about the internet side of the music game, right? Yeah. And so I know you had mentioned how you had got linked up with Meg the Stallion. So can you tell that story about how you got linked up with her and why it's important to take initiative? Because I would assume you took initiative to make that point of contact.
Yeah. Well, how it came about with Meg is I had already been doing a lot of stuff with 6ix9ine. So when I came back, once I graduated school, I came back to Houston, and then I was kind of looking to see who I could work with out here, because I wasn't really in tune, because I had already been in New York for 4 years. So I was locked in with a lot of New York artists, but when I came back, I was okay, I kind of got to start fresh now, see who's making noise in the city, who I think has potential, who I if I like their music, Yeah. So I came across Meg's account. I forgot doing what, probably just creeping online or just explore page or whatever. And I think she had close to 100,000 followers or something at the time. And I just reached out to her yo, I'm a producer, I did this, da-da-da. If you're ever trying to lock in, I'm here, And then sure enough, she hit me back. She invited me to the studio. And she's a real down-to-earth person, she's really cool. Yeah, sure enough, we went to the studio, I locked in with her, and from there, we just started making more music.
I know you mentioned you had already got linked up with Tekashi 6ix9ine prior to you linking up with Meg the Stallion. Yeah. I know the Tekashi 6ix9ine story, you can kind of tell them, but what I would want to talk about is the fact that you were making this content and already having it online for him to be able to find you, right? If you
Yeah.
weren't already putting out the beats, he wouldn't have found the beat. So
Yeah.
just tell me about the story and put that spin on it as well.
Okay, cool. So at the time, this was my senior year of college. So I was already like on my last like semester of college. I didn't really, like at the time, I knew I still wanted to produce, but I didn't know like, man, like how am I gonna make money doing this? Like, cause at the time I was really only making like a little like here sale like online here and there, like, you know, a quick little $200 or, you know, something like, not to where I could support myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I was really just, at the time I was living in Brooklyn because upstate New York, for my school, they had like a study abroad program. I was really just posting beats every day online. Like I would post them on my YouTube. I would make the thumbnails. I would, you know, do all the hashtags and like everything to like get more plays and everything. And even though my beats weren't getting played, like, you know, I would get like 15 plays a day or something like on a beat, which is nothing, you know? But I don't know, it just like, I just told myself like, I'm gonna just keep posting beats every day until, I mean, someone's gonna see it, like someone's gonna use it or something's gonna happen, you know? It was one of those things where you can't really believe that it happened, like unless like it happens to you. You know what I'm saying? To this day, I still don't know like how it played out like that, but it did. So I'm just thankful and like blessed to like even be in the position, because they told me like the way they searched the beat was by least amount of plays. So my boy Drew, he was the one who found the beat on YouTube. He searched it like, it was like a T Grizzly and Ludfo type beat, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then he searched it with, you know, you can do filters on YouTube. Yep. They put like the least amount of views at the top, and sure enough, I had posted it like the day before, so it was like one of the ones at the top, and that's how he chose it. Yeah,
so I know you say you're not sure how you got chosen, but the fact that you were posting consistently, maybe daily, multiple times a week, that's the only reason why your beat was there. So,
exactly.
So tell me a little bit about your motivation and your courage to you said they weren't getting plays.
Yeah.
But you were steady posting them, you were steady making the thumbnails, you're steady putting in the work. Talk to me about that.
I just knew, bro, I've always been a huge believer in like, it really only takes one person to change your life, bro. Like it takes one person to like give you a shot, or one person to like bring you under their wing to like really like make a difference. So like, I just knew like, even though my one beat was getting 15 plays, I had other like 100 beats on my account. So it was like, if all those were getting 15 plays, I don't even know what the math is, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's a good amount of plays in a day. So that's the way I was thinking about it. Just like the more content I put out, the more people are gonna see it, and it really only takes one person or like that one artist to like make a difference. So it kind of like, it was kind of crazy because he ended up being like one of like the biggest artists. Like I never really like anticipated it, but that's just how it played out, you know? Yeah. So.
And just for them to kind of know, how many views does that video have on YouTube right now? Do you know?
I think like 250 million, something like that.
Yeah, so 250 million.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me. You don't go and clock into a boss, right? You don't work a traditional 9 to 5. You make your own hours. Talk to me about how you've been able to turn your passion of music producing into something that's sustaining your livelihood.
Yeah, it was a process. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it really comes down to how bad you want it. So for me, I just knew I wasn't gonna be reckless, and like the first thing I did was, whenever Kooda came out, I knew I had to get an entertainment lawyer or some sort of like representation. In the music industry, if like you're not represented by somebody, then like it's viewed as you might not know what you're talking about. Like, you know, like I'm obviously not gonna be talking to somebody's lawyer about paperwork because I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I knew I needed some sort of representation, so I found my entertainment lawyer through a mutual friend who had already produced stuff for like Drake and a bunch of other people. So I reached out to him like, just like, hey bro, like I need your help. Like, can you, you know, plug me in with your attorney? Sure enough, I got my attorney. So we finalized all of that, and then from there, I had to set up my LLC, my company, to start getting paid. That's kind of what I focused on next, just building up my company, having all my like tax forms correct. This was before I even made a dime, bro. Like Kooda dropped, and like it had been like probably over a year before I ever saw like any money. Cause I moved back from college. I was still living with my mom for a little bit, just getting everything situated. I also needed, there was labels reaching out for publishing deals, like offering me like, $300,000 and X amount of money, like, and I kind of told myself like, bro, like, relax, like, don't jump the gun, and just do what feels right. From there, I established my company, my attorney. I had that set, but I still wasn't getting paid, so I had to get a publicist and a manager. So luckily, like, a lot of people had reached out to me already about being my manager and publisher and publicist and stuff, but I never really got like a good vibe from a lot of them until I found Lamont and Franchise. They kind of work together. So I found them, and like ever since then, like we locked in, and they're the ones that make sure like I get paid pretty much. So like say I got like a song going crazy in like Austria, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't know exactly how much that song is generating over there, but they know exactly like to the cent like how much I should be getting paid, when I should be getting paid, and then like if I don't get paid, then they just reach out to my attorney, and my attorney does what he got to do. So that's kind of how it started with me. But it was a process. It wasn't like an overnight thing, like, okay, I got a hit and now I'm rich, like, because I've seen people, like, for example, I know this one guy who has a song with 6ix9ine, bro, and I guess he didn't really know like how much he was losing out on. Yeah. But like now I like look at it and I'm like, damn, bro, like you could have been in your bag. Like you just like, it just really comes down to how bad you want it. You got to take the right steps. Like it's a patience game. It's not gonna happen overnight, but eventually it'll happen.
What was your most discouraging moment, and how did you approach that situation?
Discouraging moments for me was like coming up, I was working a lot, and like I'm the type of person that I take everything I do like so serious, and like when I guess the people I was surrounded by like didn't really see like my vision, or like didn't really see like where I was trying to go. So I had a lot of like professors and a lot of like people that were like, yeah, like, he makes beats, but they would ask me like, okay, what's your plan B? Or like, okay, well, that's cool, but like, what are you really trying to do? Or like, just not, I don't want to say they were throwing shade, but it was like, I know you're not like, we're not here, like, we're not together here. So like, a lot of the times it's like, you'll see people like that, like, just kind of doubting what you got going on. And like, for me, you just kind of got to keep your head down, focus on what you got going on, and like, just keep pushing forward. Even if it's just like a baby step here and there, like, that goes a long way. After I had linked up with 6ix9ine, and like, we exchanged numbers and everything, like we were in New York. I moved back to Houston, but he got a new number. So I like lost contact with them completely. So it was like, damn. I saw that they were in Houston, they came to Houston. I saw that they were in Houston. I like reached out to them, like, you know how like it usually is iMessage and then it's like a text message. And you're like, damn, they got a new number. So I seen that he was at a club. I was like totally like discouraged, like, damn, like, all right, that was like my one like artist that I was like really locked in with, that like now, like, I don't know if like, cause you can't, at that point you couldn't really hit him up on IG, cause you know what I'm saying? Like it was too much going on. So that's kind of where like I kind of just tell myself like, all right, I gotta take some sort of initiative now. Like I can't just let it pass me by. Cause I knew what like the opportunities and like the potential that like I have. So I kind of took initiative. Like I saw that he was going to a club that night. You know what I'm saying? I put on my drip. I went over to the club. Like, I had to like just to see what's up. So I had cut my hair. I used to have like long hair, like a man bun and everything. I had cut my hair. I go to the club with some of my friends, and like we were outside waiting. My boy couldn't get in because he had like Air Forces or something. I was like, bro. So we're already thinking
Messing it
6ix9ine.
up.
We're already thinking 6ix9ine's inside. Like they're already doing their thing. They're about to leave. Sure enough, like he pulls up in like a Rolls or whatever, and he passes by. I'm like, yo, da-da-da. He sees me, and then from there it's like, oh, bro, what's up? You know, like come to the section, da-da-da. And like from there, like we locked back in. So it was like, I could have seen that like moment as like, well, you know, like that was it. But I kind of took the initiative to like do something about it. Like that's the biggest thing. A lot of people like whenever stuff like that happens, it's like, all right, cool, like I guess on to the next one. But it's not really, like you just gotta see, like you know what you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you just gotta go for it. Like even if like you think you're gonna look stupid or like, you know, maybe I could have gone to the club that night and I couldn't even seen them and that would have been, you know what I'm saying? Another story, but they didn't play out like that. So that's kind of how like I take it.
Yeah, so you talk a lot about having that initiative. Like, what is that drive, that motivation? Like, what inspires you to work that hard, to grind that hard?
Just like, it kind of has to do with a lot of things. Like, I see like the lifestyle that some people live. I know what lifestyle I want. I don't necessarily want to be like the most like famous, but nor do I have to be. But you know, I do want to I want to be like the type of person where it's like you hear my name and it's like, oh, it gets quiet a little bit in the room, or it's like, oh, or if I step in the room, like you can feel my presence, or like I like just the end game for me is just like being like worldly known, just like for my music. Like for me, it's like that was always been the thing. Like I just want people to like know, like, oh, this beat is too hard. Like who made this beat? And it's like, oh, he made that beat? Oh, of course. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like something like that where like nobody can tell you nothing. Like that's kind of what I want. Like nobody can tell me nothing.
Yeah, I respect that. So as this entrepreneur, nobody can tell you nothing. How does your typical day look? You know, what time you wake up, what are you doing, how many beats you making, what type of networking you doing, what type of business stuff you handling? What does your average day look like?
I have a little studio at the crib. So I really just answer all my emails, do whatever paperwork I need to do, like, you know, whether it's like a sync license or like, you know, this artist sent me the producer agreement for the song we have, or, you know, just talking to my manager and attorney about like what we got going on. And then once that's kind of taken care of, I just start cooking up. On Mondays, I make melodies only. I call it Melody Monday.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I like to have like a schedule. Like I think that's important. Like whether it doesn't have to be like minute by minute, but for me, I like, okay, on Mondays, I make melodies, and then I send them out to all these producers on Mondays. Tuesdays, I make as many beats as I can. Like whether it's at home or at Wire Road, the studio we were at yesterday, or you know, just with homies or whatever, wherever really, just wherever the wind takes me. Wednesdays are usually my days where I send out beats. I send out beats to labels, A&Rs, managers, artists, etc. And then, you know, the rest of the week, I pretty much just kind of go as it comes. You know, so I like to take like a day or two off a week just to like be with my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like on her days off, like I'll take like the day, whether it's like a few hours to just do something with her, or, you know, the whole day to just, man, I'm not trying to make nothing today. So it just depends. But, and you know, sometimes, some days I'll wake up not knowing what I got planned out for the day, and then by noon I'm like, all right, like I have a session with some big artists at night. Like it's just very kind of random. Like I kind of stay posted on like who comes into town and who doesn't, and I'll kind of hit them up regarding that. But that's kind of how I go about like my everyday.
Got you. And it's all popular on Instagram and everything. People got, you know, CEO in their bios, and it's all about be your own boss and all everything like that. But even though you're your own boss, you still have a schedule for yourself. Just like, you know, they may have a schedule to go to class every day. We may have a schedule with the gigs that we got to film.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the importance of having that self-discipline when you don't have somebody to boss you around. You can sit at the house and not do anything all day, but you got Melody Mondays, and you sitting out all of those tracks every day. Tell me about Self-discipline.
I think it kind of just ties back into like organization for me. I like to be organized with everything. And when you're in the industry, like the music industry, it's very like sporadic, like very random. Like, so it's easy to forget a lot of things. So like, oh, I didn't send that contract to da-da-da, or oh, I didn't send that beat pack to. So I like to just stick with my routine kind of. And I'm not saying like, at 8:30 sharp, I'm like, all right, I'm up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I but it's like I try to do it to where if you're consistent with something, like something's gonna give. Like, it's not like, and I get the itch. Like, if I go 2 days without making a beat, I'm like, bro, I'm tripping. Like, I haven't made a beat in 2 days. Like, Yeah. For me, it's like one of those things where like I just get like anxious. Like, I need to do something. Like, I can't just like really sit around. I'm not that type of person.
Question that's not necessarily on here, but as minority individuals, like I say, you're making trap beats, we're making music videos, we're in the urban type culture. When you're meeting with these lawyers and these managers, they don't look like us, they don't talk like us per se. How have you been able to navigate those rooms?
Really, I just let my manager do a lot of the talking. Like I said, that kind of ties back into like being represented.
Yep.
So even though I know I could like easily respond to an email and be like, oh, this is how I want it, da-da-da, I'll call him, be like, hey, bro, tell this person this, da-da-da. Because a lot of the times, like, people get in their feelings about stuff. So say for example, I'm in the room with the artist, and like we have this fire song, and he's like, and he asked me or she asked me like, how much do you want for the beat? Off jump, I'm just gonna be like, talk to my manager. Yeah. Because the first couple of times that happened to me, I would like say the price, and like that kind of came like a tense moment, like a you don't want like your relationships to be affected by like money or like just something that you said when somebody else could say it for you. So that's like what my manager is really there for. Like he just does the talking for me. Like, he's like the middleman. So like, say I'll charge like 15 bands for like a beat, and like I'm not gonna tell the artist that. I'm gonna have my manager reach out to the label, and then me and the artist can just continue our like building our relationship.
Cool. I respect that. I was talking to some of the audience members. I know we got people who are interested in music. Some people said they liked fashion. Some people that want to go into medicine. I mean, what type of motivation or last thoughts that you have for them just across the gamut to be successful doing what they want to do?
I would just say the biggest thing is, or one of the biggest things is to network. Like, you just have to put yourself out there, like, even if you're uncomfortable. Like you have to be uncomfortable more than you are comfortable, like in situations. Like I told them like yesterday, like any opportunity or like that comes my way, even if it's like paid or whatever it is, like I'll look into it, like just because why not, like, or I'll do it just because you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know what comes out of what, you never know, like, you just never know, bro. Like, I've had certain situations where you just, like, for example, I'm real cool with my boy Fable. He's a barber, he chops up like the Astros and like Rockets or whatever. So the day after me and 6ix9ine, we was at the club or whatever, they had hit him up to give him a chop. And he calls me, bro, like, I had met him through my girlfriend, right? The barber. So like, he calls me, he's like, man, they just told me to go to the hotel, but like, I'm not trying to like go by myself. Like, I don't really know them, and like, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I'll go with you, cause I already like knew them and stuff. So we went, and then while 6ix9ine was getting his haircut, like, I was just making a beat right there on like at the hotel room with like the little iHome, and that turned out to be Rondo with Tory Lanez and Young Thug. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one contact or one person can really make a big difference. Like, the power of like social media and everything now is crazy. Like, you could have 2 followers one day, and then someone makes a meme out of you, and then you got 50 million followers, and then you're rich. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know, bro. You never know. So my biggest thing is just network. Try to be, like, stick your neck out there, like, you know, and just keep working. Like, don't let anybody tell you, like, what you should and what you shouldn't be doing, because the only person that really knows is you. Only you see, like, your, like, future. No one's gonna live, like, your life. So just do it however you want. That's what I think.